when I take a look at July, I think as far as a summer month goes, it was probably a whole lot more productive than a lot of summer months in throughout my career have been. I don't think summer is necessarily sell May and go away. In fact, that sell May and go away is really quite an incorrect way of looking at what we do. In other words, sell May and go away meant once upon a time, just get flat, don't engage the markets a lot between Memorial Day and Labor Day. And then somehow it got twisted incorrectly into this notion that we should be short through summer, which actually, when you look at seasonals, is probably utterly incorrect. So while we don't incorporate a ton of seasonals in this room, we are always going to be aware of these kinds of tendencies, right? Okay, so a couple of things that we did and we will continue to do through August is we focus on the relative outperformers. The best trades that will come out of every week and every month and every quarter and every year are going to be when we focus on those markets that are relative outperformers. And relative outperformer can be the best of the indices. What's the strongest of the three major indices? NASDAQ, Dow, S&P. What is the strongest of the major sectors? And then what are the strongest of the stocks that are weighted heavily within the sectors and the indices? All of that makes our scanning process here in the sector room far, far more digestible, easier to keep up with, and compact, right? I don't want to be swimming in a sea of thousands of names. I want to know a couple hundred of them, if that many. Let's say a few dozen, really what is what it amounts to, really, really well, right? More is not better, right? Less is more. And that's very much the mantra of this room. So our best trades of the month are probably a tie between our following the trend in TLT, which we continue to be in because we've bought enough time. That's another aspect to our trading. We're not buying options that are going to expire in 2 or 3 weeks. Hardly ever. We're focusing on months. We're focusing on giving our trends enough time to let us enjoy what is the path of least resistance. So our best 2 trades of the month are probably a combination of TLT and XLV, both of which I believe at this point are 3x winners, right? So we've pretty much tripled what we initially spent to enter the trade. Now, I'd say the most difficult aspects of our book have been anything tethered to the reflation trade. And probably the most disappointing was the way in which crude unceremoniously just broke this trend and turned into wider chop. Now, crude has been one of the commodities that was probably most resilient in light of the reflation trade that was broken by the Federal Reserve in mid-June. It wasn't until the OPEC drama unfolded that crude oil really started to struggle under the weight of the confusion and the disagreements within OPEC about what to do with production cuts. So the cool thing about something like this transition is, it was not something that we weren't aware that could possibly bring volatility, right? This was definitely something that we knew could bring volatility. It just happened to have finally broken the trend. Volatility coming doesn't mean we're going to have a trend break, okay? Volatility coming means we just want to brace ourselves for the potential for a pullback or even a break of the trend. So, this kind of volatility didn't catch us by surprise, but it did stop us out of our long position. And one that we had, recently taken like this, from our wave to our first profit target. So, we were looking to do it again. And then, clearly you can see here, stopped out, right? So that was probably the most disappointing corner of our market. But overall, July was actually really good to us. I think probably the toughest month of the last handful was the reflation unwind that was in June. So nice recovery from that. And what are we doing? We're focusing on the best structures in the market. And that's exactly what we're going to continue to do as we go into August.